our panel discussion. Firstly, about scaling your startup by leveraging information technology. And to begin this panel discussion, firstly, would like to invite on stage our guest of honor, Shri Amit Purohit, iStart Program Manager, DOITC Government of Rajasthan. Please put your hands together and welcome on stage Mr. Amit Purohit. Thank you so much, sir. And in this series, now introducing on stage our moderator, Shri Arpit Soni, Co-Chairman, Assocham RSDC Committee on Information Technology. Please, everyone, put your hands together for Shri Arpit Soni. And now we are going to introduce on stage our panel members, Shri Sandeep Jain, Chairman, Assocham RSDC Committee on Information Technology. Please put your hands together for him. And now, next is Shri Paresh Gupta, Chairman, Assocham RSDC Committee on Startup. Please एक बार जोरदार तालियों के साथ स्वागत करेंगे श्री परेश गुप्ता का. And now, next is Shri Pankaj Jain, Partner, Indirect Tech Service, EY. And everyone, please give a huge round of applause for Shri Pankaj Jain. And last but not the least, Shri Ankit Dhir, CEO and founder, Habili Labs Private Limited. Please put your hands together, everybody. And before to begin this panel discussion, it's time for felicitation, सम्मान और आदर के साथ हम शुरुआत करेंगे आज के इस पैनल डिस्कशन का. So firstly, for felicitation, requesting Shri Sandeep Jain to please come forward to felicitate Shri Amit Purohit. Shri Sandeep Jain and Amit Purohit ji. And sir, a very warm welcome. आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत हम आज इस पैनल डिस्कशन में करते हैं. And once again, thank you so much to be here with us today. Thank you so much. Thank you. And next, I would like to request Shri Arpit Soni ji to felicitate Shri Pankaj Jain. Please come forward for this felicitation. सर आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत और बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद हम करना चाहेंगे आज आपकी प्रेजेंस और साथ के लिए. Thank you so much. And now requesting Mr. Paresh Gupta to felicitate Shri Ankit Dhir. Please come forward for this wonderful felicitation. और सर आपका भी हम बहुत बहुत स्वागत और धन्यवाद करना चाहेंगे to be here with us and to be a part of this panel discussion. Thank you so much. And now it's time to begin this panel discussion. And now I'm handing over to our moderator, Shri Arpit Soni.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Am I audible? Yes. Loud and clear? Yeah. Thank you. I must say I'm delighted to have this particular panel discussion along with the gents of the industry. I would like to start with a very quick question. When we talk about startups, there's a lot of fear about the taxes. So it would be great, Amit ji, if you can enlighten us about some of the tax benefits that a startup can leverage.
तो सीधा सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट में पहुंच गए यार. So I think can everyone hear me? So I think for broad level, I think while there are enough tax incentives that startups can get, I think Startup India provides a innovation pay. I think 80G का tax incentive मिलता है to investors. Otherwise, beyond that, I think there are some controversial amendments that are in the discussion for taxes. But broad level pay, I think most state governments have a very common vanilla theme. For example, they have funding. Funding comes across in various benefits, whether it's stages of ideation, seed or growth and whatnot. And then there is the other part, which is your incubation. There is another element which is now being added and very proactively being done by the Rajasthan government, which is your procurement. So startups, as a program, as you mature, most of the startups come to us and say, we are not looking to raise money. We're looking to actually get a chance to actually sell my product or service to the government. And I think Rajasthan, which is a very typical state because it has its own financial act, RTPP Act, we've actually amended the act now that as a matter of fact, any startup curated can get work orders up to the tune of 25 lakhs per work order. So if you're a bronze startup, you can get up to 75 lakhs worth of work order on nomination. So there is no RFP, no EOI. Any government department can give you work order and services up to that point. Then there are obviously other grants. In our program, we have a specific program called the Rajiv Gandhi Innovation Award. I think in March we gave 6.5 crores worth of grants for startups with innovative ideas which the government wanted to procure for services. Season 2 is on, so if you are a registered innovator, please register and apply for this. The last date I think is 16th of August. The only difference between most programs in the state and us is probably the level of effectiveness. How effectively are you able to execute what you write on paper? यहाँ पे सर बैठे हैं जो सरकार में थे. Some of you guys may have interacted with the government, state government, Rajasthan, probably some other governments. Everyone comes to me and tells me कि यार उस स्टेट ने इतना बड़ा फंड अनाउंस किया, इस स्टेट में ये इंसेंटिव अनाउंस किया. I think the mandate here is announcement is good. How much are you able to actually execute it on the ground? So utilization plays a very important role. And gracefully, luckily, with all the efforts of the ecosystem players that I have in this room and outside, in Rajasthan, I think I can very confidently tell us I've become redundant. मेरी अब कोई उपयोगिता नहीं है. Startup ecosystem बहुत अच्छा चल रहा है और बढ़ेगा आगे. And the execution of the program is become very, very aggressive. Because as a government or as a program, we can't work in silos. So I can't work in silos as a program. I need to collaborate. I need to partner. I know I have some of your founders who are, and I can see some of you guys sitting out here who have interacted with me. Collaboration is going to be the most important element. Whether it's policy making, whether it's execution, whether it's implementation of programs which are impactful. So I'm sorry, I digress from taxes to a motive which I wanted to speak on. But thank you so much.
Which is good actually. So next question I have for Pankaj. So what are the preliminary indirect tax compliances required to be made for the startups, and then how we can take insight from there?
So basically, compliances is always something which is a challenge when we talk about globally and compare India globally, right? So for startups, there is as such, if you talk about, you have to apply for IC registration for exports, if you want to do exports, but for a GST registration. So with respect to filing of the returns, since startups would, if their turnover is below a threshold limit, which is 2 crore or 5 crore, you have to submit return quarterly. And so startups being given a lot of benefits from tax perspective as well. One of that we touched upon, right, that there's a incentive in a form of loans which have been given. Rajasthan has launched a separate policy, which is altogether a different policy for the startups in 2022. If I talk about some other parts of India, the Bangalore has a startup location wherein the startups will go and they can plug and play. So there are regular offices or Government of Goa has actually been talking about bringing the startups into it because they don't have a land as such, and after this COVID there's a lot of people who have been work from home, and they have realized that Goa is one of the places where, so a lot of states are giving a lot of benefits with respect to tax and with respect to compliances, while government also wanted that compliance to be happen at par. So there is no as such benefit being given from indirect tax point of view to the compliances for the startups. But yes, obviously from a threshold perspective, the benefit which are given to any other company will be there for the startup as well.
Thank you very much. Mitch, I have a quick question. This talks about the iStart program. A lot of startups, even when I am talking to a lot of startups, some of them they're not very much aware about iStart. They just heard a kind of buzzword. Maybe if you can enlighten us like how they can leverage and what they can use, how they can go and approach the iStart program, that would be really appreciated.
I must be ahead. You asked me second question in a row. But yeah. So I think, so for all startups, I think I think for most all government services, you don't need to meet us. You can log on to the portal for iStart. And I think if you look at the value chain, or if you look at the food chain, top to bottom, the program has actually fine-tuned its solution to cater to that food chain. So for example, if you look right at the top of the food chain, we've got startups which are raising good amount of money. So you can register, and we are actually giving you an equity stake up to 2 crores in startups. Secondly, if you are a little below, you're at the growth stage, you're eligible to get grants up to 60 lakhs. If that is at a seed or probably an MVP stage. Then you have a startup which is at an ideation stage, are getting grants up to 3 lakh rupees for women entrepreneurs as well. You go below that as well. So we've also set up 66 launch pads. So in a couple of weeks, we'll be formally inaugurating our 66 launch pads, which are in 33 districts in every school, one school in every district, government school, and one college in every district. We've identified a college and school and setting up a launch pad for them to go bottom up the chain, right? In addition to this, I think I would like to also take this opportunity to state that that doesn't complete my ecosystem, right? So just because as a program you are working doesn't mean that's the only thing you're doing. For MSMEs and corporates such as yourself, we've also launched the Rajiv Gandhi Innovation Hub, which is in Jaipur, Jodhpur and Kota. These are, think of this as a paid subsidized co-working space with innovation labs for corporates. We've also set up RIAL, which is the Rajasthan Institute for Advanced Learning, which is your Fab Lab, which is also working on an hub-and-spoke model. We've also got RCAT, which is the Rajiv Gandhi Center for Advanced Technology, which is in every division headquarters, which is for providing upskilling opportunities to entrepreneurs, corporates at subsidized rates. That's sort of, in a way, we want to complete the ecosystem for the youth of Rajasthan. जरूरी नहीं कि हर कोई entrepreneur करे. उसको अगर entrepreneur startup अपना founder अपना startup शुरू करता है, सबको पता है कि 90% of them will probably fail. How do you help the startup founder grow up again? So does he do upskilling? Does he, look at advancing his technical skills? Does he look at also trying to do diverse ideas? I also want to take this opportunity because I owe this credit to Assocham. So one of your very founding members in Rajasthan, he's not here, in one of the meetings which was last year, in a roundtable discussion such as this, he had raised a very important point to us. कि यार अमित, बाकी सब ठीक है, बहुत बढ़िया चल रहा है, but कोई ऐसा प्लेटफॉर्म नहीं है जिसमें स्टार्टअप्स को और कॉर्पोरेट्स को कोलैबोरेट करने का मौका मिले. बहुत सारे एंटरप्रेन्योर्स हैं या यूथ हैं जिनको स्टार्टअप में काम करना है, उसका मौका नहीं मिल रहा है. लाइकवाइज स्टार्टअप्स कॉर्पोरेट से मिलना चाहते थे, एंड दिस आइडिया gestation lies with Assocham, by the way, and I give you due credit to this because it was someone, I will not take his name right now, but it was his idea, and it was because of that idea we incorporated it into the policy, and I think in a month that program goes live as well. So kudos to all you guys.
That's a wonderful thing. Thank you very much. I do have a quick question for Sandeep, since you're having immense experience in this particular industry. There's a lot of buzzword again, artificial intelligence, AI, and all. So, in your experience, how startups can leverage AI and scale up and grow their business?
So there are definitely advantages of AI, and one thing which we need to see as a startup, do we really need the idea that you have? सबको जरूरत नहीं है कि AI की इट्स ए बज़वर्ड एंड इट्स ए नहीं है कि सभी everyone should go after it. Now when it comes to any experience that you are creating through your products, then we need AI. Like all the if you see nowadays, all the big platforms are using AI, but for that you need to scale at a certain level. जो आपका basic idea है, one thing which I see a little bit deviating from AI as a topic. Initially, whatever product you believe in, performance is the first thing to focus. The performance of the solution. Second, then when you scale to the second level, then the next thing comes the scalability, maintainability, and security. And once you reach to the third level, then you look at when you scale further, then definitely AI and other things to attract more to scale up further. That's what you need AI, artificial intelligence. Until your product is related to AI, the first step you make. So any specific, we can product, but that's what I see for the startups.
Thank you very much. In the same context, I had a quick question for Ankit as well, since you're also into this same industry and serving a lot of enterprises along with the startup and all. Since the IT landscape is evolving at a very faster pace, so what kind of suggestions you have for these startups, like how they can leverage and how maybe they can stay ahead of the curve? Because daily we are seeing, okay, this new AI tools out there, new technologies coming up. So what do you suggest? Like what should be their focus on?
Thank you, Arvind. So to answer this question, I would like to bifurcate startup in two segments. One is IT startup, another one is non-IT startup. Okay, and I want to discuss about is IT is really important for everyone? So the answer is yes, it is really very important. So I would like to take some case study. For example, let's say someone want to start a restaurant. It's also a startup, and if he leverages the IT, he can really accelerate. He can scale up his business faster than someone who is not leveraging the IT skill. So for example, let's say there is a founder, he hired maybe a staff of 15 people, and they don't even have a software to manage their salary. So he need to do everything manually. Like he need to pay all the bills manually to all the vendors. He need to make the salaries and everything, which can be the second level is people generally hire accountant at second level. That definitely will be there. But these things can be automated once you implement the IT from the starting of the implementation. So you have the correct process from the starting. So IT can be scale up as soon as you are scaling your business as well. So with the help of a software, accounting software, you can automatically on a single click you can get your salary deposited to your employees. I know there are a lot of startup comes to us which don't even have track of their finances. So they are doing business and they are not able to get the money on monthly basis from their customers. There also IT can help. If you have correct IT strategy, it can directly remind your customer that your invoice is due. You just need to set a small trigger. So those kind of things gonna help in scaling your business. These are very basic things. So if you start with the basic thing, you have correct cash flow, and that cash flow can help you to grow further. And as soon as you are growing, your IT and your automation should also increase. So that way you can scale up faster, and you are definitely ahead of the curve. Because the other companies which are doing manually, maybe some people I discuss with, they say I can hire 2 people and they can do that stuff for me. I don't need to do automation because I need to pay some money for software, accounting software and those things. But if you pay the people, it's not a scalable model. Like how many manpower you can hire. Nowadays with the AI also we are seeing a new segment where a lot of the content writer and those things, ChatGPT and those kind of things can do automatically. So it's more about being smart, choosing the correct tool. So human being is always about getting a tool and get their task done with the tool. There is a very nice book, Spartan, is tell about how the human is always ahead of all other species in the in this universe, and that's just because of human know how to use a tool. He has very good power, the hand. So we can move our hand, and we started our evolution with the creating a tool which can even we are ahead of any species so far in the world. So that's gonna help. IT gonna help every business in scale.
Very much. Rishi, since you are very much immersed in this startup and you are doing a mentoring of a lot of startups as well, so I would like to understand what kind of questions and what kind of gap that you feel a startup in terms of their vision and their approach and strategy.
Okay. And before I answer this question, I have to say thank you to Amit. And I also have to mention that we have had multiple conversations with Amit about, so today's event was discussed with Amit in specific, and I want to tell you that today we're going to sign a couple of industry collaboration MOUs with startups. So this event is going to actually start that series of activities. We're going to have startups and IT companies coming together, and he said, why should this be in isolation, but why not bring the two together? So that's this whole event all about, and some credit goes to you because you kind of pushed us to say, do it. So big round of applause for it. Thank you for starting on this. my experience with most startups, the way they start, and there are 3 or 4 mistakes startups make really. My biggest problem with most startups is overconfidence, right? And they would always feel उनको आता है बाकी को नहीं आता है. Yeah, their idea is the only best idea, or probably they have figured out some amazing magical idea which nobody else can ever do, or they would want to keep it hidden and say, oh, somebody will copy my idea. So these are these sense of insecurities and sense of overconfidence which startups have to start overcoming. Because if you do not think rationally, if you have an idea, please understand the day you launch it, somebody bigger will be able to copy it in like flat 3 months, my guarantee. But how you're going to combat that point is something which is what is important. So execution is so more important than just the idea that you've come up with. It just does not matter at all. Right? These are very basic mistakes, frankly. The sense of overconfidence that I've seen in startups is, I know I'll do it. You know, the sense of, and this generally prevails in the society, where we feel something great will happen to me one day. And you always feel everything is going to be right. And that is not going to happen. 90% startups are going to fail by statistics. They can be misleading no matter what. Even whatever way I try, 50 to 60% startups will fail. So majority are going to fail. But by statistics, and by the same statistics, if I try 10 times, I'm going to pick once for sure. So the idea has to be that you have to try 10 times to make it win, and not to worry about, oh, my idea, one time it has failed and I'm going to lose it out. So this is the biggest mistake. Second mistake which I have seen with most startups is partnerships and co-founders, and they keep fighting. Right? And they have constant conflicts, and they are not able to agree that one person is working hard, the other one is not working hard, and you have to understand how to solve that. So find the right co-partner, have the right co-founder. If you do not have the right co-founder, it's a dead end. You will have a mess up situation for sure. Number 3 mistake which most startups would make is again about legalities. They really goof up. So they do not have a shareholders agreement. Trust me, I don't know how many startups are there, but have they signed a detailed SSHA, which is a shareholders agreement between themselves, which has to define everything between the two. And then with their investors and with everybody around, how strong is the legal compliance? Because tomorrow, if you probably get into a fight with an employee, with your co-partner, with anybody, how well equipped are you with the technology? With the law in it? So again, a very big thing. And the fourth part, since we are sitting in a tech situation, lot of them undermine tech, or a lot of them overestimate tech also. So I would say the other way around today, because everybody is praising tech. I can tell you that when I go to an engineering college, exactly where majority of the startups come up, they fail to get the basic purpose of business, which was to make wealth. And they understand tech is the only way, but wealth is what they forget. So any business you may create a super tech product, but if it is not sellable, if it can't create wealth, and if it can't create money, then you have kind of not done business. You may be a scientist, you may be a great analyst, but you're not a startup founder. So I think these are some of the things which I have evaluated in terms of the mentoring processes that we have done. And but I still wish every startup a lot of luck. Please keep doing awesome.
Thank you very much. I'm sure these kind of insights will be helping the startup a lot. A quick question to Sandeep, since you are a first generation entrepreneur, I'm sure like you have multiple businesses as well. See, when we talk to a lot of startups, they hesitate a little bit to invest money in the IT. They thought maybe it could be a secondary or tertiary kind of investment they should be doing. So what's your take on it? Maybe some of the use cases that you have used in your businesses.
Paresh already highlighted this thing that they are either on this side that they underestimate IT or they overestimate IT. One thing which we need to remember, IT is like a real estate. If you even have an office on rent, it will not guarantee your success of business. Success of business जो आएगी वो आपके आइडिया से आएगी, आपकी मेहनत से आएगी. See, we need to stay to the basics. I've done like hospitality, real estate, and few other businesses. Anytime that idea works, if you stick to the basics. And IT is a resource. IT is not that because you are very good in IT to create the success. So that's what I have seen. See, we leveraged IT and particularly other businesses we have seen, and then we are particularly an outsourced product development company also. So we develop products for many other companies in US right now. But we have seen Definitely 90% ideas fail because of the reason which Paresh shared. And then, like we are 5 founders right now, since beginning for 15 years now. If you don't know how to stay together, that's a problem. So one thing which I have seen as a product, IT is as essential as the real estate right now. So you need to invest, but don't think that IT will make you succeed the business. The success of business will come from the basics and the idea that you have. Until you're completely IT startup, then only IT can help you succeed in the business. Money has to come. Business runs on profit. Process, people, profit. 3P are there to run a business, particularly when nowadays people is most important. Asset, process has to be there, compliance, like I'm just repeating most of the things which Paresh shared, and then profit has to be there. I see a lot of startups go too big of a valuation with no profits in the end. I never understood, maybe I'm old school, but I never understand those businesses which don't have profits. It has to be there, that's what I do.
Thank you very much. Question to Ankit as well. Since I'm sure like you're also working with a lot of startups which are even not from IT background, but still you're providing the IT solutions to it, right? So maybe if you can enlighten us some of the case studies which you have recently done with any startup which may be not, or which may be very far away from the IT, but since using the IT, you have taken them from X to Y.
Thank you, Arpit, for the question. So for this, like I want to share a case study that's from the healthcare domain. So they come up with us and they have a problem statement that every other like there are a lot of big players coming into the testing area nowadays. So they are into preventive healthcare and as well as they are providing healthcare testing services. Like you can go for a blood test and those kind of things. So they were like very traditional business. They have all the setup, but they were not using IT. And suddenly 1NG and Tata and acquire 1NG, then Pharmacy and so many other startups came, and it's a very disturbing for all those kind of businesses because people are able to get their test done at their home directly. They don't need to visit any lab, and they have like recurrent revenue also because some of the tests in some diseases they have to be done every month. So they come up with the problem, how we can increase the sales, how we can implement the IT here. So we help them in implementation of end-to-end journey from let's say we created a mobile app from them. From there, the patient can book their test, and a rider app will be there who will go to their home, collect the sample, and then they will deliver it to the test lab. It will the test will happen, and the test report will directly deliver to WhatsApp account of a user. So that kind of implementation we did for them. And the impact of the story is they are even now like they started a new vertical as they created as a product, and they are giving to other labs also. So it's a completely new revenue stream for them. So they just have a small idea. Let's what instead of just thinking how we can stay in the business, just implement the IT, and they can have really good growth around it.
Thank you very much. Question to Pankaj. Since a lot of startups they are doing business overseas. Some of them are selling products overseas. Some of them just doing services. If I talk about even an IT organization nowadays, they are doing services globally. Some of them are like logistics. So what kind of taxes and what kind of leverages they have? If you are an early age IT startup or maybe a non-IT startup, so maybe GST is applicable or not applicable, or what other taxes are applicable? What are the government policies?
So basically, it's a good question. Thanks for taking this up. And I tell you one thing that most of the startups will be talking about the technology. So I will give you an example. In form of case study that suppose I am having I develop a gaming software, for example, as a startup. So my server is in Bangalore, say for example, and I have an office in Jaipur. So just by shift, and I have a B2C customer, obviously I have a B2C customer, just by shifting that server from Bangalore to Singapore. So I will shift that server from Bangalore to Singapore, and I will open one office in Singapore. Instead of billing to my customer in India, which is a B2C customer, where I was charging 18% GST, I will go to Singapore and bill to them, and that 18% will no more be a cost. So for a B2C customer, generally, if I'm charging say 100 rupees per download, so it is inclusive of taxes, so I am pocketing 82 rupees and I am paying 18 rupees as a tax to GST authorities. However, if I go to Singapore, so and I have an office in Singapore, I am charging again now 100 rupees for them, and it is like 100 rupees is entire amount which is pocketed by me because there is no GST being charged on the entire transaction. So government is now picking up these transactions. So if you heard about this OIADR services, online information database access retrieval services, where government is talking about, like, to give an example of LinkedIn or Facebook. So if I'm downloading, I'm paying something to a LinkedIn, as a subscription, being an individual, I would not be paying any taxes because I am a B2C customer. LinkedIn is in overseas, they have an office in New York, so they will also not be paying any taxes to the government of India. Though the company, those who are, it's a B2B supplies. So companies, those who are paying to a foreign company, foreign currency, they will be paying tax and the reverse charge, for which they generally take the credit. So now government is taking that step forward, wherein government is talking about that in case some companies, those who are doing a B2C supplies, in that case those companies have to take registrations in India, and in that case they have to take registrations in India or they have to pay taxes in India. So in GST there is a specific provisions of the foreign company taking registration in India, because if there is a foreign company those who does not have any presence in India doing a B2C supply, they have to pay taxes in India by calculating their overall revenue, what they have built it from the B2C customer. So this is what, when we talk about globally the technology, how the technology is doing, because otherwise that's a loss to the government otherwise. And there's a lot more to it, wherein we have seen some amendments also. Rather than going to nitty-gritties of it, but as Ankit also mentioned that technology is something which is going beyond, like 3 months back, or because I not being a technocrat or a tax person, so 3 months back, some of my colleague or my junior was typing send me an email which is a well perfect email, but when I asked him that how you were able to write an email, he said that it's a chat GPT, right? And now what we are hearing is that we have one division which is working on the processes, wherein we are putting all our laws, case laws, our the advices which we would have given in past 15 years in one place, wherein we are developing chat GPT type of a software, something like that. So probably there could be a possibility, and there is a lot of opportunity for the startups. In fact, I was talking to one of the automotive manufacturing industry. So he was saying that that's an OEM. So rather without naming that OEM, they were saying that we give a booklet. If you buy a car, you get a very big booklet, right? So nobody reads that booklet unless you stuck up somewhere or you want to open something. So they are saying that with these type of softwares, AI coming into picture, so they are saying that that booklet would be given as a soft copy to that AI, and with that app, if you are stuck up somewhere, you just have to speak that, okay, how to open lock, or whatever it is, you can check that out. So there's a lot of opportunities for the startups while this coming in. Another example to it is, when GST law came into picture, we used to file service tax return, and I know you all would have experienced filing service tax return, excise return, VAT returns manually. There are forms, and after that, there's some digitization happened, but then we have to go and fill, some figures on the software. Then we have to file the returns. Today, the process is that it's touchless. So the month ends, we get a confirmation from the management that they have closed their month. And with a click of a button, GST returns get filed, be it for 5 states, 7 states, 10 states. Then we got MIS reporting and all that. So technology is going everywhere, be it overseas, technology. So we have to work on that, and there's a lot of, therefore there's a lot of opportunities lies with the startups, everywhere using this technology, I think.
Thank you very much. One more, second one of the question, the same context, since we're talking about the overseas business and all. So, except GST and customs, what all other kind of taxes should the startup look forward to?
So basically, if there is any startup in India, those who are doing exports, I think the question is that if they are doing exports, what are the benefits which are available? So now the government is talking about, other than incentivizing us, like different policies like startup policies which we have, any taxes which are being levied on the exports. So whether I have taken an office on rent, I have paid GST on that office, or technology, I have bought some technology, I have bought some AI technology or some cloud technology, whatever taxes I am paying. If I am doing an export, that tax which I have paid would be available as a refund to me. So that is one. Secondly, the government is also talking about some scripts which are being given on the FOB value. So there is some specific percentage, whatever exports will be. So basically, whatever exports, because achieving. So what government is talking about in this Amrit Kaal, which is ending in 2047, government is actually focusing on and leveraging on these exports which would be happening from India, and therefore the different schemes like PLI schemes came into picture, wherein government is talking about doing an investment. We will gonna see a lot of schemes from service sectors also very soon from the central government itself. So government is talking about a lot of incentives other than GST and customs to be given to the exporters, those who are exporting out of India, including scripts, incentives, etc.
Thank you very much. Minji, just a quick question, just a new thought coming up in my mind. Let us assume I'm a very early age startup, or maybe you can say I've just recently, registered my organization, and I'm looking for some sort of, helping hand or maybe hand holding for some time by government. So, what all things are available? How we can apply? Assuming I'm a very early age startup.
So if you're an entrepreneur, right? So the process remains the same. You can go into any of our division level incubators, obviously, or you can go online if you have all the relevant documents. So as a process, we typically, in principle, accept the Startup India definition of a startup, which is any entity which is not more than 10 years and less than 100 crores worth of turnover. But the only permutation that we have done in our policy is, or our execution is, you don't need to have a registered office with us in Rajasthan, as long as you have a sales office. So if you have a sales office here, we will consider you as a startup, as a registered startup with us on the program. Now, once you've registered yourself on the program with all the documents, you have an option to upload your pitch deck, which gets curated. Curation is a process which is a third-party subjective opinion on your idea. Good or bad, it doesn't mean anything. A high score doesn't mean it's your great, and a low score doesn't mean you're bad. It's just a starting point of discussion. Basis your curate scorecard and the stage that you have applied it, variety of benefits open up automatically on the portal. And how many of you are startups here? Just out of curiosity. You've got a good house. So, just sorry, I'm going to digress. What's the average investment cycle? आप लोग market में जाते हो, पैसा raise करने की कोशिश करते हो, क्या time? General duration क्या है market में? 6 months, 7 months. No, yes, no, no, yes. 3 to 6, 6 months, 3 to 6. So average 3 to 6 months, right? I want to go back to my first point, which I said, how aggressive you are in order to promote the ecosystem. Our average investment cycle within our program is about 95 days. So which means from application submission के बाद जब हमारा investment call होता है, to money in the bank is approximately 90 days. उसमें भी हम गालियाँ सुनते हैं by the way. हम कोशिश करते हैं कि इसको we are trying hard to bring it down to 60 days, but it's a task in itself, right? But variety of supports are once you've registered and curated, variety of supports as per the policy get opened up automatically. And as most governments, as e-government solutions, you don't need to meet us for any of these funding. It's all available online on the portal.
Thank you very much for enlightening us in this context. Quick question to Paresh. Since we are talking about the incubations, and again, this is another kind of buzzwords in the startup world. how do you take it? Because I think you're also associated with some of the incubators and you have some sort of experience in this context. So you can enlighten us all the startup.
बंद करना है क्या
What all they can do in
है
terms of
करना
incubation.
Okay, so I think I saw a lot of people